Meet Malina, the best-looking Viking in all the 10th world. Just ask him, he'll tell you. But Malina had a problem. He was convinced that he couldn't reach his full charm potential without some shiny accessories. Screw Odin and his tasks. What's the point of Valhalla if you've got nothing to show off? And then a raven appeared by the stones, whispering about something more than honor. Shiny trinkets. That was all Malina needed to hear. His mission was clear. Find every single one of these precious items. But in the beginning, he found nothing. Just a big deer throwing lightning bolts at him. Nothing Malina couldn't handle, but also nothing shiny. So the raven told him to venture into the Black Forest. At first, nothing but pesky grey dwarfs and some big blue guys. No challenge for Malina. But then, a crypt. And there, the raven spoke again.
Shiny things you seek, then shiny things you shall have. Slay grey dwarf shamans, tear down their nests, wrestle with spears if you dare. And while you're at it, bring me copper and tin. Forge them into bronze, and more trinkets shall reveal themselves.
Malina didn't understand half of it, but he heard shiny, and that was enough. The raven wasn't lying. The first shiny thing came quick. The heart of the forest. Just bronze, a shaman trophy, and some seeds from Grey Dwarf. Easy. Malina was already polishing it before the forge had even cooled down. But then came the real challenge, the other trinkets. One demanded the trophy of a sea serpent, the other a bear trophy. Of course, Malina didn't walk into danger unprepared. No, he trained hard at the brand new training grounds. Push-ups, target practice, X-swings, everything a Viking needs to stay in shape. After all, looking good in armor is only half the battle. The other half is flexing convincingly while wearing it. Yes, Malina thought he was ready for anything, but let me tell you, these bears don't hand out trophies. They hand out funerals. Malina charged in with confidence. The result? Well, let's just say the bear laughed last. And for now, Malina gave up. So he turned his eyes to the ocean. But first, a quick visit to his favorite barber. Because obviously you can't fight sea monsters without the perfect look. Malina set sail, engaged a serpent, fought bravely, but as the beast fell, the trophy sank faster than he could swim. And Malina sank with it, shinyless, humiliated. Desperation set in, but fate, or perhaps Odin's cruel sense of humor, put a Leviathan in his path. With a new pickaxe, Malina mined its back for precious chitin, finally crafting the abyssal harpoon. Blast! Hope returned. Armed with his harpoon, he dragged a serpent ashore and claimed its trophy at last. Sure, it took him patience, practice, and more than a few unlucky serpents, but finally, victory. And then, in a rare flash of brilliance, Malina thought, if this works on sea monsters, maybe it will work for bears too. And yes, it worked great. Not the most honorable victories, but now, with both the fins of destiny and the bronze pendant secured, Malina's swagger grew unbearable, but the raven reminded him. Shinier things await in the swamp. The raven, who by the way was just as fond of shiny things as Malina, told him what he needed to gather. Iron bars, ancient bark from the old swamp trees, withered bones, and trophies from leeches and surtlings. So Malina went to work. But not before showing off his brand new berserker set. Malina thought he had never looked better. After a few muddy battles, he emerged victorious, clutching 2 new trinkets. The iron brooch and the nimble anklet. But there's no rest for a Viking chasing every shiny thing under the sun. His next stop after finishing off the really not very handsome bone mass were the mountains. And again, the raven told him what to seek. He needed silver, crystals, a stone golem trophy for the crystal heart, and wolf fangs and and a Fenring trophy for Wolf's Sight. One thing Malina did enjoy in the mountains was his new wishbone from Bone Mass. Finally, something that led him straight to even more shiny treasures. Sadly, there was a problem. His pockets were too small. No matter how handsome a Viking looks, it's hard to swagger when you're waddling home overloaded with silver. Lucky Malina, while searching for his next mountain to conquer, and of course more shiny things, he stumbled upon a trader. Herder was his name, a very handsome fella with some equally good-looking companion, the mighty Helstein. Among his wares, a belt. Not just any belt. This one lets Malina carry even more shinies. Finally, he could waddle a little less like a turtle and a little more like the best-looking Viking he claimed to be. Malina spent hours slaying golems. It took him a while to realize that his bear claws weren't the right weapon for the job. He needed the heavy smash of an iron mace to bring them down quickly. As for Fenrings, they only came out at night, rarely and never in a hurry. Malina thought hunting beasts under the moonlight was romantic. The raven just thought it was slow. And of course, the trophy only dropped from the 10th enemy. And still, even the manning yard couldn't help him to carry home everything. So many nice things to carry and so little room. But with patience, Malina prevailed and finally took home everything he needed, including this very shiny egg, which has nothing to do with his task to get every shiny trinket. After all that, Malina decided he'd earned another trip to his favorite barber. Fresh style, fresh swagger, ready for the next challenge. And the raven announced his next destination, the plains, which, to Malina's relief, were at least warmer than the snowy peaks of the mountain. The raven, still shining with greed for trinkets, told Malina his next shopping list. A Lox trophy, Lox pelts, black metal, and a fueling berserker trophy with some linen thread. Malina, of course, strutted through the golden fields, bragging that the warmth suited his skin tone better than the cold mountains. After a few clashes with Lox and berserkers, and a short visit to the barber naturally, he came away with 2 new trinkets. The bracelets of the brave and the evasion mantle. The raven wasn't done. He sent Malina into the Mistlands and warned him of their dangers. So before heading into the mist, Malina returned to the sacrificial stones. After so many shiny victories, he found himself confused. Which forsaken power should he choose? Which weapon? Which armor? Which trinket? The raven tried to explain strategy, synergies, optimal builds, but in the end, Malina decided it was simple. Choose what feels right. And of course, what makes you look best. Then the raven listed what he needed to find. Carapace, refined Eiter, a seeker trophy, and from the mighty Gjall, a trophy as well. Malina boasted that no bug could ever trouble him until he met his first Gjall. The sky darkened, and soon Malina was lying in a crater. Still, after a few attempts and bruised ego, he returned with the goods. But the trinkets weren't complete yet. Getting his hands on a refined Eiter turned out to be a long journey in itself. Mining giant skulls, exploring infested mines, harvesting zap from the roots in the Mistlands, and on it went. In the end, though, Malina managed to gather everything he needed. He was extremely proud and, more importantly, extremely shiny. And proudly, he was forging the next 2 trinkets, the resounding shackle and the pulsating earrings. Finally, the raven whispered about the hottest prizes of all, hidden in the ashlands. The list was short but brutal. He needed flame metal, refined Eiter again, bloodstone, a molten core, and, if Malina was lucky enough to survive, a fallen Valkyrie trophy and a Morgan trophy. Malina marched in confidently. The Ashlands answered with fire, legions of enemies, and one very overwhelmed Viking who soon found himself on the floor again. But persistence and a few stylish death poses finally paid off. He forged the last of his treasures. German bling, and brimstone. And so Malina placed all the trinkets on the wall, his ultimate display of vanity. Everything neatly lined up, shining back at him. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Did it take countless deaths, fashion breaks, and a very patient raven? Also yes. And that's it. Every shiny new trinket collected and displayed. I hope this guide helped you on your own journey. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this more story-driven approach, or if you'd rather have the information straight, short, and to the point. And if you are still struggling to get your refined item in the Mistlands, I got you covered. Check out this guide next. Until then, Skål!